You know, this week, the long-awaited report from the Commission on Reform of the Legislature, at least the State Senate, was released, and it was kind of interesting. There was a news conference in Albany where all the legislators on the majority side were patting themselves on the back as to all of these great reforms. It's a new day, it's historic, et cetera, et cetera. And the irony of the whole thing is that the reforms that they called for when they were in the minority could have easily, on the first day of session, become part of the new rules of the state Senate, because they have the votes to change the rules any way they want. And at that time, they made some very minor changes, and again, this commission that's been studying this issue for months came out with some changes that really totally avoid the main issues that all the reform groups and that they themselves ran on, that said that they would change things. And it's really going to be the same way the legislature has operated in the past. And what's interesting, I've got with me rules that they tried to pass. They didn't have the votes at the time, which showed that the key reforms are equal staff allocations, grants to go in a way that's fair to each district, no matter if you're a minority or a majority senator, and the abuse of messages of necessity. That's when you vote on something at the last minute and it doesn't wait the 3 days it's supposed to. This is what they wanted. During the budget process, the message of necessities were used on each budget bill because the budget bill was put on our desk the day of the budget. These are what they wanted and what the changes that they wanted. Open sponsorship to many bills. I just got a call today that if I don't agree to give my bill to a majority senator, then they're not going to pass that bill. Nothing has really changed, and what's interesting is not only did they make these changes, requested changes in amendments to the rules that the majority at that time were proposing, they also brought a lawsuit. And a lawsuit was brought that would have all of these changes required by a court in view of the fact that it violates the Equal Protection Clause of the Constitution. Now, to me, I think the message is very simple. It is extremely hypocritical to attempt to change the rules, to have the major reforms done, to sue when they were in the minority to have these major reforms done, ignore those reforms when they pass their own rules, how they would operate the House, that's the new Democrat majority in the Senate, bring a lawsuit to try to cut a court to say it's a denial of equal protection, and then have a commission that studies it for several months and come out with none of the major changes. And I guess the point of all of this is that the minority members on the committee came out with a report that would make these changes. And what's also interesting is that the process in which this commission operated, the report that was supposed to be a bipartisan report was not delivered to the minority senators until 9:30 in the morning, and the vote was to take place 2 hours later. So a reform commission that is violating the same openness as the budget process did, and we still have everything that's dysfunctional. And to run on a program, to run on reform, and take over the majority, and then ignore everything that they had claimed they were going to change in the Senate, I think is hypocrisy at its best. And that's why the minority has made their proposals, and which mirror what the Democrats used to want until they were in power. Now, I'm not naive enough to suggest that we didn't do the same thing as the Republicans in the Senate, and as far as the changes that we're talking about right now. There's a distinction, however. There's a difference. It's a big difference when you are proposing amendments to the rules, you are suing to get the rules changed, you campaign on a program that you're going to change the Albany and the dysfunction of Albany, and then just play a game and claim that you're making the rules changes that really would be the rules changes that would be needed to make Albany more effective and fair to all people involved in the process. So I guess it's to me, it's a distinct difference, and I would not want their news conference where they were claiming that we are now at an historic day in the Senate to go unchallenged, because it's just not true.